Hey, welcome to another Front-End Engineering Explained. It's been a while. Too many things going on. Didn't have time to record anything. But something I've been waiting for quite some time is now baseline newly available. So I thought I'd give a talk and show you what it's all about. Also trying a new thing with the camera. Let's see how this goes. So let's dive in. So we have this HTML here. That very simple. It imports this emoji viewer v1. So let's start there. And first things we want to do is I have this JSON data file over here, and it just contains a whole bunch of emoji. So as you will see in the HTML, I put a comment here where I get this JSON from. So you can use it as API endpoint, but I want the JSON locally. You'll see why in a couple of minutes. So it's just a whole bunch of emojis. Cool. So let's head back to emoji viewer v1. So the first thing we want to do is let's write a function that will load our JSON using fetch. So we'll say, let's just call it fetch emoji data, something like that. And then we need to async. Okay, nice. And then const, let's say response equals wait. And then we want to fetch. And what we want to fetch is our endpoint. So that's going to be data/emoji.json. Nice. So that gets our, loads up our JSON, but we don't have an object yet. So we're waiting for that. And then our, let's say JSON data equals response.json, but we have to await that as well because this is an asynchronous. And so now we have our JSON data, and so we can return our JSON data. So we're just going to assume that everything will go fine here, that there's no errors or anything like that, just for simplicity's sake. So, and then what we want to do is basically what this gives us back is an array, right? So it gives us an array of objects. And so we want to basically just build up an unordered list and just show all the emojis in there. So we'll create a new function. We'll call it render emoji viewer. And this also needs to be async because we're going to call fetch emoji data there. So we need this to be async so we can use await inside. Blah, 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 that arrow function. Cool. So first thing, we're going to create our container, which is just document.createElement, and we're going to make a UL. And then container.classList.add. We'll add, I think I called it emoji. Let me see in the CSS real quick. Emoji list, yes. So emoji list. And then we want to, of course, get our emoji data. So const emoji data equals await. And then we're going to call our fetch. Fetch emoji data. There we go. Fetch emoji data. I call that function of ours. And now we have it. So what we want to do is we want to loop through them. But what we want to do is we want to map over it and create basically an array of our list items. So we're going to say, let's just call it emojis. And then we'll say emoji data dot map. And through each iteration, we'll get an emoji. And then we want to, const item dot create element li. So we're creating a list item. And then for the list item, we want to set the inner HTML, because otherwise if we did text content here, it wouldn't work at all. And what we're going to use, where's our emoji? So what we're going to use is our HTML code here, right? So we're going to say emoji.html code. And yes, and we're going to return our item, which is our list item. Now we have all our emojis as a list, and then we're going to go container.append, and we're going to spread our array of emojis, and then we're going to say document.body.append child container, and then we have to call render emoji viewer. Render emoji viewer. Nice. So let's see if I got this right. So blah, 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 blah. All right. So let's go. And I'm going to, instead of using the right click view live server, no reason not to do that. But I just wanted to show that actually if you have NPM installed and all that, you can do npx and then just use the HTTP server node module. And if you do that, it exposes it for you here. You also get them like that, and then emoji viewer, and there's our emojis. So now let me just bring my dev tools in here. Doc to bottom. So if we go into the network tab and we reload, then we can see there is that fetch request of ours, and there's our response with all our emojis, and we're just rendering them. And this is straightforward. It's just a grid of our emojis. So, it's nice and responsive. I can show you the CSS real quick. It's very, very simple. It's just a grid. We use grid template columns. We set it repeat autofill with a min max of 10 rem or 1 fraction. And the rest is just a gap, turning off default list styles, except we're adding padding. And then the font size, that's obviously what set the size of our emojis. I'm just using clamp to clamp it between 4 rem and 10 viewport width with a preferred of 8. So that's that. Nothing super interesting here. You've probably seen this a bazillion times before. But, so the thing that I was excited about is JSON Modules. And I made a video a while ago where I mentioned that this is coming, and now it is in baseline and it's newly available. So depending on the browsers that you need to support, you may or may not be able to use this yet. But if you can use this, let me show you how this JavaScript changes. So we're going to go into emojiviewer.js here. What I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to copy all of this stuff, right? I'm just going to paste it in here. So what this does is, as we know, we create our UL, we add a class list, and then we call this. We don't have that function yet. We're going to remove that for the moment. And then we have our emojis. That is a map of, an array of our list items that we get by mapping over our emoji data. And we create a list item, and then blah, blah, blah. So you know everything that happens here. So all we need to do now is go to the top here, and we're going to say import emoji data. Oops, I meant to do that. From, and now we want to get it from data / emoji.json with, and then here is the import attributes, JSON. Now, I just need to refresh my memory that this is indeed a string. Yes, indeed, with type JSON. That's it. So basically, this replaces our fetch that we had to do here. Now we're importing our JSON as you would normally import, for example, JavaScript. And the other thing is, of course, this is already parsed into an object. So there's no need to do a .json on this or anything like that. So if we change this to emoji viewer, then everything should work exactly as before. So let's go back to our refresh. There's all our emojis still. If we go back now and we reload, but there the initiator is now undefined. So before you would have seen that it was that script that loaded it. Now the initiator is undefined, and there's our response because the browser is taking care of that now. The browser is now loading our JSON. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. I can't wait for this to be baseline widely available. But again, depending on who you're building for, know your audience, you may be able to start using this. So I'll link the two articles, well, the article and the specification. I'll link that up in the description. Let me know what you think about this. Are you excited about this? By the way, the next thing that's on the horizon, I need to follow up how close on the horizon this is to be able to do this, for example, with CSS as well. Now, I know I made a video where I showed that with a web component, you would have to, for example, fetch your CSS, but imagine that you can import it. So soon, those bold steps that we often still need Vite or something like that, because we want to be able to do imports of our JSON like this and of our CSS, pretty soon we won't even need a bold step for that, and we just get that as part of the web platform. So super exciting. Let me know what you think. If you like this, give it a thumbs up. Have any questions, let me know in the description, or not in the description, in the comments. And if you want more content like this, I'm going to start making more videos again. So yeah, hit the subscribe button and I'll catch you in the next one. And until the next one, keep making the web awesome, and peace.